big debate, Babar Azam versus Joe Root. Is Pakistan's answer to Ben
That
Stokes.
guy is a waste of space, talent, fashion.
भाई सस्ते इंसान तूने 5 पाउंड से ऊपर तो गया नहीं था
यार नैंडोस पता है तुम्हें 3 पाउंड का हुआ.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of Silly Point. We finally have the full squad back after a long time. We managed to they're motivated for the England-Pakistan series, which is what we'll be discussing today. So, आज का topic बहुत simple. We're just going to go through who we think are the most important players to watch out for, and most importantly, watch out till the end. Our predictions. Like I said in the England-West Indies series, I was right. So stay tuned till the end for our predictions for the big England-Pakistan Test series coming up. So let's start off with who we think are the key players to watch. I'll start from each team. So मेरे लिए England के लिए है James Anderson और पाकिस्तान के लिए है Babar Azam, obviously. Sorry guys, I've taken the very obvious ones. लेकिन एंडरसन का ये है कि एंडरसन बिकॉज पाकिस्तान आई थिंक पूरी टीम ही जो एंडरसन के खिलाफ बनी होती है हमेशा. ब्रॉड का ठीक है फॉर्म वॉर्म चल रहा है आजकल, लेकिन आई थिंक एंडरसन की स्विंग पता नहीं क्या है हमारे बैट्समैन में कि दे लिटरली कैन नेवर प्ले. इवन यूएई और दुबई की डेड पिचेस पे उनसे एक वन पर ओवर से स्कोर नहीं हो रहा था उसके खिलाफ. तो आई थिंक एक एंडरसन और बाबर आजम ऑब्वियसली पाकिस्तान के बेस्ट बैट्समैन है, तो उसकी देखना पड़ेगा. obviously a lot of pressure on him. Proper first इसकी England first test tour है, so it'll be good to see how he performs. So for me it's these two.
I think मैं पाकिस्तान के लिए the player to watch out. I think finally जो इतने अरसे से डिबेट चला जा रहा है और उसको बेचारे को चांस नहीं मिलता इस दफा, तो वो अपनी फुल बड़ी मूंछें लेके टीम के स्क्वाड में आया हुआ है. तो आई थिंक फवाद आलम को चांस मिलेगा और फवाद आलम परफॉर्म करेगा कंसिस्टेंटली. he'll be the solid batter और मैं देख रहा हूँ उसको कि वो अच्छा परफॉर्म करेगा. उसको चांस, आई थिंक ये उसकी सीरीज है जिसमें उसको फाइनली चांस मिलेगा और वो अच्छा खेलेगा. So I have high hopes from him and I think he's the player to watch out. He'll be a solid batsman along the middle order for Pakistan. England में player to watch out, I think someone जिसके साथ पाकिस्तान will struggle a lot, समझ नहीं आएगी और मतलब बहुत वो होएगा. जोफ्रा आर्चर को हम वर्ल्ड का बेस्ट बॉलर बनाने जा रहे हैं सीरीज के बाद, जो पाकिस्तान यूजुअली करता भी है. मतलब डर जाएंगे, आर्चर बिल्कुल नहीं खेला जाएगा, टॉप ऑर्डर उड़ाएगा आर्चर अपनी पहली स्पेल के अंदर. आई कैन इजीली सी दैट हैपनिंग. So for me, I think Pakistan will be very fearful of Jofra Archer and he will have a huge impact.
So guys, I will go next. So good picks from Zahid and Fahad. I would probably agree. I think Fawad Alam and Babar Azam are going to be the key batsmen for Pakistan. But for me, I think the standout player would probably be a bowler from Pakistan, given the England scenic conditions. And I'm looking at Shaheen Shah Afridi. I think he will be the highest wicket taker for Pakistan in this series. Just because conditions kind of suit his style. He did bowl well in the World Cup last year, and I think he gained a bit of experience. So I think he's really going to be like the front man for Pakistan this series. For England, again, similar to Fahad, Pakistan is good at, कोई भी out of form player हो, कोई new player हो, उसको जो आप form में लाने के लिए Pakistan is known for that. So I think Joe Root, he's been struggling for the last few months. I think Pakistan will give him ample opportunity. उसके catches drop होंगे, उसको LBW नहीं हम refer करेंगे, and I think he will be the key batsman for England, and he will get back into form, and then he will be back as the Fab Four where he's been struggling for the last I would say year or so. So I think Joe Root is the one to watch out for Pakistan.
Babar Azam versus Joe Root, big debate.
So I'll go next. I think England के अंदर I think I would agree with Fahad. I think not just because Jofra Archer is an out of form bowler. I think Pakistanis naturally struggle with short balls, and he is lethal, when he bowls like short deliveries. I think he's going to be demolishing our batting attack if he gets going. I think it will be a good test for the Pakistani batsmen in the first test कि Jofra Archer को कैसे tackle करते हैं. They have played Anderson before. I know that Anderson is very lethal in English conditions, but they have played him before. The other thing is Yunus Khan is batting. Yunus Khan has played Anderson a number of times, so I'm sure he will be putting some sense into the minds of our batsmen कि भाई इसको ऐसे खेलना है और जो है वो ये नहीं कि पहले बल्ला जो है वो उठा देना है, swing पहले होने देना फिर जाके बल्ला उठाना, और अगर नहीं उठाना तो ना उठाना. So I think Jofra Archer, I think player to watch for for England. Pakistan ke andar, I would stick to my I was gonna stick to my most underrated player choice, which you guys saw in our previous episode. But I think this time I'm gonna go with the captain. I'm gonna go with Azhar Ali. I think there's a huge responsibility for on him. It's probably gonna be his पता नहीं कितने उसकी और टेस्ट सीरीज होंगी, but I think Azhar Ali is the key to watch. I think he's going to take responsibility, and I think you're going to see some really big runs from him in this series.
Cool. So I'll go next. I agree with Uzi in terms of Shaheen Shah Afridi. I think he's going to be quite lethal. For me, he in the Pakistani attack, I think he's going to be the best bowler. Skill-wise, wickets-wise, breaking partnerships, I think he's going to do really well. But if I had to pick a batsman from Pakistan, then I'd say Mohammad Rizwan. Again, I think he's quite. I think he's quite underrated.
Batsman from Pakistan.
I was having a look at the inter-squad games that Pakistan played, and in the first inter-squad game, he scored 100 in the second innings and a 50 in the first. And I know he scored 100 recently in Australia as well. And so I don't think Pakistan has had very many keepers who are capable of doing something like that, scoring hundreds in countries like England and Australia. So I would say Rizwan. For England, I know everyone's talked about Jofra Archer. Based on his performance against the West Indies, I don't know if he's going to start. I think the person that will start over him is probably someone like Chris Woakes. And Chris Woakes actually has got a better average in England than Broad and Anderson. He's that kind of bowler where I think, people from cricketers from India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka will struggle against, because he's got that subtle seam movement. He can swing the ball as well. He bowls at a good pace, and he can bowl a mean bouncer. So for me, from England's perspective, it's going to be Chris Woakes. And I agree with a lot of the choices everyone else picked. So Joe Root, for example.
No one's picked Stuart Broad.
Yeah, that's a big, surprising one, right?
I think he's had his fair share in the West Indies.
Or Ben Stokes.
Ben Stokes. I'll just say this for Broad is that
Ben Stokes never against Pakistan. Like Pakistan ke khilaf, he's always tamed. He's never
Well, this is a new Ben Stokes.
Maybe he likes us.
But one thing about Stuart Broad is that he always gets on a roll in 1 or 2 test matches, and then before that and after that, he's pretty normal.
I think he wanted to prove why he was not selected in the first test, and he did that in the second and third test, and now his selection is confirmed. So
I think
he's gonna be like
Broad is gonna be consistent. He's gonna take like 2 to 3 wickets per innings, but he's gonna.
That's the Broad we know now. 2 to 3 wickets.
That's the thing that is worrying me is कि हम all of this talk और मतलब फवाद आलम को फिर starting 11 में chance ना मिला मतलब ये
कहने वाला था.
That is a good debate, हाँ.
Surprised if Fawad Alam is in the dressing room doing this to his mustache and not playing.
I think because Yunus Khan is the batting coach, and I think they've played for the same domestic team, so I think he'll definitely be starting at least in the first half.
Let's try and pick couple of like my criticisms. अभी पाकिस्तान को मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ जिसरा शाहीन और नसीम शाह को बहुत ज़्यादा overhype कर रहे हैं. ठीक है, शाहीन शाह ने फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत अपना दिखाया है. नसीम शाह भाई बहुत अभी उनको कह रहे हैं वसीम बकार पार्टनरशिप है ये वो मतलब बहुत ज्यादा ओवरहाइप कर रहे हैं.
ये कौन कह रहा है?
The other criticism is I was looking यार फिटनेस के बुरे हाल हुए में मतलब इमाद वसीम और यासिर शाह तो लग रहा है कबड्डी वर्ल्ड कप के लिए आए हुए हैं मतलब rather than टेस्ट सीरीज. अजीब पेट पर निकले हुए मतलब थोड़ी बहुत फिटनेस बहुत खराब हुई भी यार ने लॉकडाउन में.
जो प्लेयर प्रैक्टिस करने आए थे सोहेल खान टाइप वो विकेट ले रहे आके प्रैक्टिस में.
यार बट have you guys noticed
आमिर का इतना बड़ा मुंह हुआ है उसने सेल्फी ली हुई थी इतना बड़ा मुंह हुआ था.
सोहेल खान की फिटनेस की है. आई थिंक वो जब से 2015 का वर्ल्ड कप हुआ है ना वो जिम से एक दिन भी उसने जो है ना वो नहीं किया. यार वो बंदा प्रॉपर जो है वो डबूश होता था. ही हैज लाइक लिटरली लाइक टोन डाउन मैसिवली.
लेकिन थर्ड सेशन तक उसकी पेस जो फर्स्ट सेशन में उसकी 85 होती है थर्ड सेशन 68 पे आ जाती है. फास्ट बॉलिंग.
अफरीदी के शूटर उससे ज्यादा तेज होते हैं लेग स्पिन वाले.
सोहेल खान is much quicker than Abbas. He's much quicker than Abbas. Abbas की pace भी is
but
like.
What do you guys think? What's the Pakistan pace attack in the fourth?
Yeah, so let's move to the starting 11. I think that's a good segue. So I think let's start. I think जो confirmed player है. I think confirm में ये I think openers में Shan Masood will definitely be one of the openers, and maybe one between Imam and Abid Ali because Abid Ali got injured in the warm-up match.
Okay, sir. I don't know.
He got a concussion, I think. तो वो है, but I think so we can debate that. Then Azhar Ali will definitely be 3.
Yeah.
Babar Azam 4, Rashid Shafiq 5, Fawad Alam 6.
Yes.
Well, Fawad
Up for
we can
debate.
come to.
Yeah.
Rizwan definitely, if Fawad doesn't play, then Rizwan 6, otherwise Rizwan 7. Messi Shah 8. And then Shaheen Shah, Naseem
9.
Shah I think will definitely play, and then one of Abbas
यार,
and
मतलब
Suhail.
यासिर शाह को क्यों मतलब स्टार्टिंग 11 में लाजमी
और कोई है ही नहीं.
Yeah, you need to have a spinner.
Shadab Khan है
You need to have
basically.
one spinner. Azhar Ali
You
से
either
नहीं
have
कराएंगे
Shadab
ना
Khan
bowling.
or Yasir Shah.
It's
इमाद
either
हसन
Yasir
नहीं?
Shah, it's
नहीं,
either
इमाद
Yasir
हसन
Shah
नहीं
or
test.
Azhar Ali bowling spin. अब Azhar Ali से नहीं करवाएंगे ना.
But I
You
think
need to
if
have
I'm
one
not sure
spinner.
about Yasir Shah.
Let's move to I think Imam versus Abid. I think it's if Abid is fit, he'll play.
Yeah.
I think
Otherwise,
100%. 100% Abid will play. Imam is not in the correct mindset of playing test cricket. उसके अजीब बाल उसके आगे आए उसको ऐसी नजर ही नहीं आएगा.
नहीं यार, but
भाई बाल
Imam has
तो
played
मारो
well in
यार.
the warm-up games. अभी उसने 50 मारी है last innings के अंदर. Abid was struggling, जो तो मैंने देखा warm-up games में.
यार Abid because Abid had a incident ना उसको
नहीं, उससे पहले
अबे
Abid-
107 107 टेस्ट एवरेज है यार आबिद अली की.
वो against बांग्लादेश जो 2 मैचेस में खेले हैं.
But I would go with Abid as well. I think Abid deserves to get a chance in in playing in England, at least in the first test. If he
Technically,
doesn't
deserves
perform,
a chance, but
bring in Imam.
They'll go with Abid.
I think फिर दूसरी is balance also शादाब और फवाद में से एक खेलेगा.
But how do they?
Maybe starting 11 is a bit different. I don't have Fawad Alam. I have Rizwan at 6, and then I have 5 bowlers.
Shadab at 7.
No, I have Messi Shah at 7. Then I have
Australia की एक century थी यार.
I'm playing Suhail, Abbas, Naseem, and Shaheen.
नहीं, that's too much. Pakistan
Too
never
much.
does that. Pakistan already has a very weak batting, so we need to go
do
with
not
6
be
batsmen.
surprised if you see this lineup. You heard it here first.
No, I'll tell you what. What can technically actually happen? They might not play Fawad. They might not even play Shadab. You know who they'll play at 7?
FOMO.
Stokes.
What?
FOMO.
Fahim Ashraf.
फहीम अशरफ को तो वैसे ही ले आए वो नंबर पूरा करने के लिए.
You heard it here first. That is more likely than what.
Watch the test match if Fahim Ashraf is part of the team.
He's Pakistan's answer to Ben
That
Stokes.
guy is a waste of space, talent, fashion, looks, everything. He's a waste. He's got nothing right going for it.
And with nickname, जिस बंदे का nickname यो मतलब कि चाइना का हनी सिंह बना हुआ है बंदा. यो नाम है जिसका.
nickname बना है.
खेलेगा यार का मतलब अपना नाम रखा है यो. उसकी जितने इंस्टा पे फैन पेज है सब पे लिखा है यो फैन. यो क्या करना है
बनती यार. He hasn't even played like in.
I think realistically it's one of which of practice match because Shadab played. But I think it's Fawad or Shadab, and for me I think Fawad will play. They'll play it safe. They'll play extra batsmen.
Because Pakistan's batting is weak, they need to go with 6 batsmen.
देखो मैं all I'll say is that given past history, do not have your hopes up on Fawad Alam. Do not be surprised.
वो तो किसी के ऊपर नहीं है. And then I think
अगर Iftikhar Ahmed would have been in the 20 picked for the test matches, then you could have said, okay, maybe they'll play Ahmed over Fawad Alam. But with this squad,
like first test, definitely he's getting a chance. If he flops in both the innings, then they might change it.
And then last में it's Abbas versus Sohail Khan.
Abbas.
And only because I think it would have been Abbas 100%, but practice match के बाद his purpose was literally to go and help them practice. Net bowler बनता उसको team में डाल दिया.
But वही वाली बात है पाकिस्तान में this sort of thing happens. Like अगर कोई warm up वगैरह में इस तरह impress करते तो भाई वो उसकी confirm जगह हो जाती है. वो कहते हैं इसको तो रखो यार.
Can I just
मुझे लग रहा है they might play him in place of Naseem Shah. So they might have Shaheen, Abbas and Suhail Khan as pace.
Yeah, basically the difference is they played the warm up games in Derby. ठीक है. Derby में ऐसा है कि it isn't technically an international standard wicket.
अच्छा.
Okay, it's not like a
Southampton
or a Manchester.
First class ground है.
First class ground है, yes, but it's a small county, right? They don't have the facilities that other bigger grounds have. So obviously, the way they prepare the pitches, the kind of grass that they have there, the soil, all of that is very different from what in Manchester and Southampton. So maybe on that type of wicket, Sohail Khan was absolutely lethal. But on Manchester or Southampton, I don't see Sohail Khan, performing good.
Yeah, Gaurav, you haven't seen him swim.
Manchester.
First game is in Manchester, and then the next two are in Southampton.
Acha. First, Derby is close to Manchester, right? Conditions would be similar.
I mean, no.
North England.
Overhead conditions will be
pitch to yaar, obviously every ground is different.
No, but
every ground is different. But Derby basically is not an international standard wicket. In that, maybe there'll be more grass on it, or they don't have enough resources to make sure that it's cut properly or it's watered properly, and all those types of things, right? True. It's a wicket where it's difficult to bat on anyways.
But I think the one good thing in Pakistan's favor is because last 1 week or so it's been very hot in the UK. So maybe, and I think the only one edge Pakistan has over England is that Yasir Shah is a less bad bowler than Dom Bess. I won't say he's a better bowler than him, because I think with the heat and the dry conditions, he might be helpful given the week we've had in the UK.
But that week you're talking about is more in London. Up north, it's been raining more, apart from a couple of days.
It's very sad, yeah, कि हमारी एक spin choice, prime spin choice Yasir Shah है.
Who was really good until like about a couple of years ago. वो पिछले 2 साल में
उसका बैटिंग रिकॉर्ड ज्यादा अच्छा है. उसका बैटिंग रिकॉर्ड ज्यादा अच्छा है, सेंचुरी मार के.
वो ऑलराउंडर for some reason यार मुझे याद पड़ता है कि इंग्लैंड के अंदर वो कर देता था एक आध टेस्ट में मैच विनिंग परफॉर्मेंस.
दुबई यार, he was good in Dubai.
Dubai में he was solid. He's won so many games.
In the 2016 Test series in England, didn't he take 10 wickets at Lords?
He took 10.
He took 10
wickets.
I remember that.
But he didn't do anything after that.
Well,
let's move on to England. I think England का काफी simple batting order, same Sibley, Burns. I think the only question is whether they play the same West Indies के last test wali, where they have Root at 3 or they have Crawley at 3. And then
it's all down to Ben Stokes. If Ben Stokes can bowl, then it'll be Crawley at 3. If Ben Stokes can't bowl, then Archer will play.
Why would Ben Stokes not bowl? Does he have any?
He was, because in the last Test match against West Indies, the third one, he was injured. Not injured, but he had a niggle, so he couldn't bowl. He was playing as a specialist batsman. So they needed 5 bowlers. That's why they picked both Vokes and Archer.
I think they're gonna stick with the winning combo.
I think third test wali करेंगे.
Hard to change that. Like hard.
I think at least they'll go with that in the first test.
So what, they will have like 6 bowlers then, including Stokes?
No.
But Stokes is not going to bowl, right? So they're going to have 5.
So they have Anderson or Broad and then they have Vokes, Archer,
and
Bess and Stokes.
Well, if Stokes
if Stokes can bowl,
if Stokes can bowl, then they might consider bringing Zach Crawley in at 3 and then removing a bowler. But if Stokes can't bowl, or they are unsure that he can bowl 10 overs a day, then they're probably going to go with the same team.
And I think England में someone who will be like a surprise package for us and who can really frustrate us could be Sibley. अगर वो उसने 20 रन बनाए 200 बॉलों पे, तो पाकिस्तानी बॉलर्स बिल्कुल they will lose it. I think
we are
out करना बड़ा जल्दी is I think
specialist in making average players very good, so there's a good chance कि Sibley और Burns में से एक कोई जो है वो 450 रन मारे सीरीज के अंदर.
Burns तो काफी मतलब it's quite decent, but Sibley अगर टिक गया ना और फ्रस्ट्रेट करना शुरू हो गया, तो ये बॉयज
I won't be surprised अगर Sibley.
मुझे लग रहा है शाहीन शाह का बनी होगा Sibley.
हैं?
Feeling आ रही.
Let's move to the big debate, Babar Azam versus Joe Root. What do people think? Who will be the big? Well, not the more important player for the team. I think Azam is probably more important to Pakistan than Root to England.
Yeah, I think both have a point to prove. Babar has a point to prove to all his like जो fans जो rave कर रहे हैं कि भाई बस एक यहाँ perform कर दो इंग्लैंड में and you are sorted for वो, मतलब कि कोई डिबेट ही नहीं होगा बिग 3 का, मतलब कि बिग 4 से बिग 3 का कोई वो नहीं होगा.
Yeah, I think
उसके ऊपर एक्सटर्नल प्रेशर बहुत है. Babar needs to perform in England. Babar needs to get runs in England. He needs to get big hundreds. Root के ऊपर प्रेशर ये है कि Root की फॉर्म has been extremely poor. और मतलब वो जो है वो पहला टेस्ट मैच के बाद जो है, ठीक है, एक साइकोलॉजिकल हुआ है कि पहला टेस्ट मैच हारे, जो रूट वापस आया तो अगले 2 टेस्ट मैच जीतना शुरू हो गए, बट he did not do anything like other than I think last टेस्ट की लास्ट जो इनिंग्स थी जिसमें उन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा रन्स करने थे, वो ठीक है, एक माइंडसेट वो था कि यार एग्रेसिव खेलना आके, he got a 50, he got a good quick 50. But other than that, he needs to silence the critics, because obviously he's arguably England's best batsman on paper, right? Yeah. So he needs to prove that, because no one's seeing in his current form ke he's
been
he's
struggling for the
justifying
last
that.
year or so.
Root Pakistan के खिलाफ अच्छा ही perform करता है यार. Like he has a good record against Pakistan. I think
नहीं होता यार हमसे out ही नहीं
I
होता
think
कभी.
Root will be the best batsman of the series.
Yeah, I agree. So I see, to be honest, like on paper, obviously Babar Azam is the best batsman of Pakistan, and Root is England's best batsman. So I think they will probably be among the high scorers. But overall, I see Joe Root edging Babar Azam overall in run scoring over the 3 matches.
I think Pakistan ka highest run scorer will be Azhar Ali.
I don't think we'll be top 5.
You want to bet?
Yasir Shah more runs.
We can bet top 5.
No, we already have a bet in place.
Yasir Shah के थोड़े से ज़्यादा run हो Azhar Ali.
Speaking of bets, let's move on to our predictions. So let's predict the match, the first test, and the overall series. So G, do you want to start?
Match. So I think first one will be England, second one Pakistan, third one England, 2-1 to England.
Uzi?
I would say first one England, second England, third a draw, most likely due to rain. I don't see Pakistan winning just because overall very inexperienced team and a very defensive captain. Pakistan team ने जब भी अच्छा perform किया है, especially England के अंदर, they've had like a good captain. I don't rate Azhar Ali at all. He's very defensive. He's been out of form for the last 2 years. And the other thing which is really hurting Pakistan is they haven't played Test cricket in about 8-9 months. So they're coming into this series where they haven't played a Test match in 8 months. England is obviously hot in form after a comeback win against West Indies. So it will be. I will see Pakistan will have 1 or 2 moments where like Babar Azam will score a great 100 or someone will get like 5 or 6 wickets. But I don't really see them pulling and winning a game. So 2-0 to England.
I'll go with the first test England, then second England, and third England. I see a whitewash happening very easily.
मैंने बारिश की वजह से एक मैच बचा दिया था इंग्लैंड का मौसम देख के.
बारिश पे टच नहीं करना, मैंने लास्ट टाइम किया था इंग्लैंड.
My predictions are very different. Either I'm feeling really patriotic or I'm feeling really optimistic. I think Pakistan is going to win this series. Pakistan will win this series. You all will be surprised. ठीक है?
इंशाल्लाह.
और Pakistan will win it 2-1. I'm not sure England which test England. They might win the first one. But I think first Pakistan, second England, and third Pakistan. Pakistan will win the series 2-1. I don't think there will be any draws. I think आजकल एक दिन बारिश हो भी जाए, a test match lasts like 3.5-4 days. So
exactly.
A draw is less likely.
Yeah.
But I'm going with 2-1 because obviously I have a bet with Uzi. And I want my free Nando's.
I can see my Nando's, yeah.
ए सस्ते इंसान तूने 5 पाउंड से ऊपर तो गया नहीं था.
यार Nando's पता है तुम्हें 3 पाउंड का हुआ अभी कल.
हाँ ये है वैसे. चलो हाँ फिर.
हाँ जी.
My pick is, I think I'll be neutralish, although my obviously heart says Pakistan, but realistically England after, because they have match experience, they will definitely win the first one, and maybe Pakistan might win the second one, and then the last one will be a draw. So I'm going for 1-1.
1-1. Okay.
You borrowed my prediction from England West Indies.
Well, I was right for English West Indies, so this is my original predictions.
But let's do a combine. Let's do like a combined दुआ के भाई फवाद आजम select हो जाए यार.
हो जाएगा. With this team हो जाए, like with this squad they've picked of 20 हो जाएगा.
I mean,
at least first match he's playing. First match he's definitely playing.
उसको looks की basis पे select कर लो, मतलब करो तो सही यार. मतलब he has a lot to offer.
मेरा मसला ये भी उसकी मोचे फिट नहीं आती हेलमेट के अंदर, तो वो थोड़ा सा एक कंसर्न है.
Does he bowl? Does he still bowl?
बैट नहीं उठाया जाता था, उसने इतनी बड़ी दाढ़ी भी रख ली है, तो अब उसको.
I think he can bowl. He's one of those bowlers जो 2-3 ओवर का अगर किसी बॉलर को रेस्ट कराना है तो he can come in and bowl like 2-3 overs.
तो अजहर अली भी कर लेता है यार.
हाँ उस टाइप का ही बॉलर है, समझो कि 2-4 ओवर का स्पेल करा लिया.
But he's probably not as good as Haris Sohail. Haris Sohail, I remember in test
matches. Haris Sohail is a borderline batting all-rounder. Borderline यार.
Borderline batting all-rounder, incredible.
Just border, no line. Just border.
But I think they wouldn't pick him on his bowling abilities. So
no. I'm just.
But don't be surprised if Azhar Ali takes more wickets than Messi Shah. Do not be surprised.
No, that ain't gonna. That won't happen. I think.
There's more chance of Yasir Shah making more runs than Azhar Ali. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And don't be surprised if Shadab Khan emerges as a very good batsman and that's his like
That's-
start of
that
the
will
journey.
Fahad's dream and prediction that Shadab Khan is the next Steve Smith.
Yes.
If he gets to play, right? If he doesn't, then
I think he'll get a chance in the series eventually. I don't think he'll get a chance in the first match.
हाँ पाकिस्तान पहला मैच हारेगा टीम में चेंजेस तो करनी होंगी तो whoever
Definitely.
they have to get
I
it.
think
जब
सबको
Messi
chance मिलेगा, रोहिल नजीर को भी चांस मिलेगा इतना प्रेडिक्शन खेल रहे होंगे हर बंदे को चांस मिलेगा
नहीं रोहिल नजीर नहीं
I think when Messi Shah goes for 0 for 250 runs उसके बाद शायद उसको निकाल के शादाब को दे
नहीं
that is very likely
what they might do is bring in Shadab Khan at 7 and then play Kashif Bhatti left arm.
Well,
because Kashif Bhatti has taken a lot of wickets in first class.
काशिफ भट्टी को जो आप आपस में वार्म अप थे उसमें नहीं खिलाया तो इंग्लैंड खिलाया
ये सरप्राइज फैक्टर है
ना
यार with Pakistan you can expect that.
हाँ that's true you can expect
Musa but he's not in the test squad. Musa's not in the test squad.
अच्छा मूसा T20 स्पेशलिस्ट
हाँ मूसा को टेस्ट में नहीं खिलाएंगे
What about Haris Sohail? Like he's उसको finally 6 महीने के बाद he tested negative. Yeah, he's in England.
Haris Rauf.
Yeah, sorry, Haris Rauf. Sorry.
So he's gonna be in T20. They're not gonna.
यार उसका I think he's going to appear in Guinness. The one person who got the most tests. उसके 60 टेस्ट हुए हैं. उसके literally 60 टेस्ट हुए हैं. 5 पॉजिटिव और आखिरी 2 नेगेटिव आए हैं. He probably the most. कोई भी टेस्ट नहीं हुआ होगा.
I think he can go for that.
हाँ.
चलो. Okay, so thanks for watching, everyone. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think about our predictions? And just a reminder, we're now on Spotify and Apple Podcast. So check us out there as well. And please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.